Hey everyone, so today I'm really excited to walk you through a demo of focus.xyz, which is a crypto social network being built on the DeSo blockchain that's launching soon. Now, the first really cool thing about Focus is that it's crypto native. And that means that every account is controlled by a public-private key pair, just like you would control a crypto wallet. And that has really big implications. So first, that means we can do all kinds of interesting things with money that have never been done before on social networks. This includes things like weighting posts by wallet balance, doing microtransactions, and mixing speculation with social media, all of which you're going to see today. We also take things one step further with Focus and its crypto nativeness. In particular, all content is stored on-chain, fully decentralized on the DeSo blockchain, and end-to-end encrypted where needed, encrypted with that public-private key pair that controls your account. So why is that important? Well, that means you can actually customize your feeds and anyone can build their own feed because all of the content is open. And as you'll see with Focus, we even have a feed marketplace where you can monetize feeds and have a truly open ecosystem providing curation, unlike what we have today, which is very centralized. In addition to better content curation and bringing competition and choice to feeds, this decentralization also means that you can never be deplatformed because there's no centralized entity that controls your content, just like there's no centralized entity that controls Bitcoin. Again, it's all stored on the blockchain. And so really what Focus is trying to do is make it so that you can own your profile and your content just like you would own your Bitcoin or your crypto. Everything you're about to see today is running on the DeSo blockchain. If you want to learn more about the DeSo blockchain, you can go to deso.com. It has a pretty cool website. You can scroll through a bunch of fun animations, but it's really cool infrastructure. So with that, let me start walking you through focus.xyz. If you want to learn more about Focus, by the way, focus.xyz actually has a landing page right now where you can read the white paper. It goes a little more in depth on some things that I'm about to talk about. But this is what's going to look like when we launch Focus. This is a demo site running on the DeSo testnet. And as you can see, a password is required to access Focus. So the first people who will be able to access it will have to click through here. And that will be anyone who's reserved Focus, which happened a few months ago. Once those people get in, they'll have an invite link, and they'll be able to invite other people through that process. But I have an account already, so I'll go ahead and connect my wallet. I'll show you what creating a wallet looks like later. But once I've logged in with my wallet, you can see the Focus app looks pretty much like a social network. There's a feed, but there's some stuff that you normally wouldn't see on a social network, things like crypto wallet balances that we'll talk about. Before I get into that, this is a little dark for me. So we have different themes with Focus. So I had modern dark, there's modern light, but I like classic light. So classic light has a little bit of a Windows 95 look to it that I like. So the first thing we'll walk through is because every account is also a crypto wallet or public-private key pair, money is integrated into Focus in a way that's never really been done on any social network. So up here, you can see there are two currencies that we just show the prices of. That's Focus and DeSo. But your wallet can actually have three different currencies in it. It can actually have many more than that, but these are the ones that you can use as cash on Focus. So you can use Focus, DeSo, or USDC. All of these you'll be able to use to pay for stuff, and it happens seamlessly behind the hood, and they total up to whatever your spendable balance is. Now, if you come into Focus and you don't have enough money to do stuff, it's very easy to top up. You can click this button right here. You can choose an amount, $10, $100. You can also enter a custom amount if you want. But here's the first really cool thing, is you can actually top up with any currency. Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, USDT or USDC on Solana, DeSo, of course. And when you top up, you can go into any of the three assets that you can use as cash on the social network. What I'll go ahead and do is I'll top up with Ethereum and we'll go into DeSo for now. You can top up into Focus, but this isn't working quite perfectly yet, so we'll do that. So I'll go ahead and top up. I'll copy this into a MetaMask and send the funds right now. So because we're on testnet, I need testnet Ethereum in order to do this swap. But luckily, I have some money in my wallet already. And normally what would happen is you would send the Ethereum. It would be pretty quick, like 10 seconds for it to confirm on Ethereum. And then you'd be able to top up to whatever currency that you want. And your deposits would be shown here. Of course, you don't just put money into Focus. You can also cash out. And so for cash out, you can cash out any of the assets that you cash into, of course. And the way you do that is into a ERC20 USDC address, like you would find on Coinbase. And so here, I would just say, oh, I want to cash out 0.1 DeSo. And because this is testnet, the exchange rate isn't right. But no, you just have to cash out enough to be over the gas, and then the Ethereum gas, that is. And then you're good. Okay, gas on DeSo blockchain is so cheap that we're not even showing it here. Cool, so that's topping up and cashing out. We can do other things with our money, which is we can go to our wallet, and here you can swap between the DeSo native tokens, so between DeSo, USDC, and Focus. Sometimes that's useful to do quickly. And of course, you can send money to anyone on the network. DeSo wallets are social, so all these profiles are actually stored on the blockchain. So I have a username on the blockchain, and we can go to my profile or my wallet or my activity. I'll just click the activity because it's cool. So this is what your activity looks like on DeSo. It's all very social and cool. You can hop into the wallet of whoever you're sending coins to. Lastly, I'll just show you that you can link to the profile as well. And last thing is there's also the DeSo Block Explorer. This is really cool. You can see all kinds of stats about DeSo, the recent blocks, all that kind of stuff. So if I wanted to, I could send some DeSo, USDC, or Focus. Again, those are the assets that you have in your wallet on Focus. And this is what transactions look like here. So now we talked about your wallet and how you can have money on the app, but what can you actually do once you have money? So the first is every post, in addition to having the typical comment, like, and repost, has tipping built in, and it's micro tipping because the fees on DeSo are so cheap. So here I can just tip a penny. Normally this approve pop-up doesn't come up for such a small amount, but on testnet, that's just how it works. And you tip and the person immediately gets your money and they can cash out to USDC using that flow that we talked about. But Focus introduces new ways to make money with crypto, those being subscription content, paid messages, what we call view to earn, and repost to earn, which are very cool new primitives that at least the latter two, I don't think any social network has implemented before. So the first cool thing is with posting, you can make a normal post, but what's cool is you can not just do plain text, but you can also do rich text. So I can make this a heading, and every post on Focus is rich text by default. So you get modern tools because it's a modern app, which is cool. But now let's talk about how you can make money. So if you click this button here, you'll see that you can have gated content. So this would be the preview. This is what's going to be gated. I'll add some images here as well, just to show you what it looks like. So I'll come here. This will be the gated image. It'll be this cool electric wallaby. And this will be the preview image, which is just a normal wallaby. I'll put some preview content, unlock to see the cool wallaby. So when I go to make my post, you'll see I have a couple of options. So earlier, I configured a monthly subscription. This is a crypto subscription. And this works because the DeSo blockchain supports really advanced permissions that allow for being charged on a monthly basis, which normally you wouldn't be able to do with a typical crypto wallet. So I can either gate this behind a 10 cents per month subscription. Also notice microtransactions are possible 10 cents per month because DeSo's transaction fees are so cheap. This actually isn't possible on a fiat network because every charge has about 30 cents of fees on a fiat network. But I'll do a pay to unlock instead of a tier. And I'll go ahead and make it 50 cents. This will be a cheap little one. So I'll go ahead and make that post. I approve. And it's important to mention, all content is stored directly on the DeSo blockchain. So here it's committing your post to the DeSo blockchain, which is really cool. This is what an unlocked post looks like, but this is because I just made the post. If I go to a different account, like I'll do in 2 seconds, you'll see you'll have to pay to unlock it. So I'll do that right now. So I just switched to the Electric Wallaby account, which is different than the account that I was on. And if I go to Mystical Jaguar 85, that's the account I just made the post from. So you can see the preview image is right there, unlocked to see the cool wallaby. And right here, you'll see an unlock for 50 cents, just like I had there. So if we do it here, all of this is with crypto. So because I have enough money in my balance, I unlock it. And again, normally it's a bit quicker, but it's actually decrypting the content. It's reading the content from the blockchain, decrypting it, and opening it for you. So normally it's instant, but again, on testnet, it's a little slower. So it just did that full decryption, and now you can actually see the content inside, which is super fun. And that's unlocked for you forever because essentially what happened is now you have the keys necessary to view this post with your wallet. So that's unlocking a post. The next thing I'll show you is paid messages, which are a really interesting way to connect with people who they might have an inbox that's too full of spam to respond. So if I come here and I open up the message tab, you can see I have Electric Wallaby in my messages already. But I'll just go ahead and create a new chat just to show you what that looks like. So normally I would select Electric Wallaby. You can actually do group chats as well, but there's a little bit of complexity with tipping in that, and I want to show you what tipping looks like. So I'll keep Electric Wallaby here, and I'll say send a direct message, opens this up. So immediately you'll see a few statistics on Electric Wallaby. So they've received 3 paid DMs. View rate and reply rate are wrong. They should both be 100%. But this is actually what percentages of posts that are paid that you end up viewing. And this is what percentage of posts that are paid that end up applying to. So I'll just hover over here. If you pause the video, you can read the details of how all of that works. But really, it's very simple. Electric Wallaby has a minimum tip of 10 cents. So Electric Wallaby has disabled sending without the minimum tip. But for a normal account, you would be able to send it. but it would end up in a spam folder here. So you have your inbox and you have your spam. So attaching the minimum tip ensures that you end up in the inbox, and Electric Wallaby gets paid if they view it. So sending this message will cost you 10 cents. You can also say don't ask again if you wanted to just be messaging them super quickly. So now Electric Wallaby has a message that's sitting in their inbox, and if they view it, they'll get 10 cents. So let's see what that looks like. So I just switched to Electric Wallaby's account here. And if I come to the messages, you'll see just because I already had Mystical Jaguar open and because I viewed the message, I just got paid 10 cents as Electric Wallaby. Because you messaged Electric Wallaby, they have the ability to message you back for free now. So it automatically whitelists the sender and just as a kind of convenience, which is super cool. So we covered 2 ways to make money: subscription content and message content, all of which is being done with crypto, which means we can do microtransactions, which you can't do anywhere else, which is really cool. And there are 2 more things which I want to show you today, which are not finished yet. The first one is what we call pay to notify or pay to view. And what that means is if I tag someone like Electric Wallaby, if they've set a minimum tip to notify, it'll prompt me and say, hey, they will get a notification only if you pay this minimum amount. And then when they view that notification, they get paid. So it works similarly to paid messages, but it makes it so that you can't spam someone by tagging them all the time, which is really cool. It really helps to clean up the inbox of people who are tagged very often in content. So that's pay to notify. And then there's one more feature that we're working on, which we call pay to repost. And that allows you to submit an offer to someone who's popular where they get paid if they repost a piece of content that you've created. And so we're really baking incentives, which are now possible with crypto, into social media in a way that hasn't been possible before. So those are the typical ways that you will be able to get paid on Focus. But there's one more less typical way, which is optional and not everybody will do it, but it is launching a coin. So Focus actually has, in my opinion, the best platform for launching a coin, whether it's a meme coin or a creator coin, or even a coin that you use to fundraise for something. And I just want to walk you through what that looks like right now. So if you click the trade page, you can see all of these are coins of people in testnet, obviously, that are currently trading. But I just want to show you what launching a coin looks like and why you might do it. So Focus allows you to earn money by launching a token that's associated with the profile that you have on the platform, or on DeSo, I should say. And that can be any coin. You can have any properties attached to it. We kind of give you 2 basic options if you want to consider them. One of them is a creator coin, where you can send a percentage of your revenue back to the coin. The other is a meme coin, where it's just a different category of coin. It has the same properties as a creator coin, but there's less of an expectation around sending revenue back to that asset. But just to walk through this flow and what it looks like quickly, this is getting simplified, this flow, but I'll show you what launching a creator coin looks like. So you have a bunch of options that are really interesting. So the first, you can select a percentage of your revenue that you earn on Focus that you want to send back to your coin. That'll end up buying and burning the coin, thus giving it a form of fundamental value. You can set how much you want to earn in trading fees. Just straight up, whenever someone trades your coin, buy or sell, you earn a percentage of that sale, and that can be a big moneymaker for creators. You can set an ownership percentage. So let's say you want to own half of the supply when you launch your coin. You can set that here, and that'll be guaranteed. But you can also do interesting things, which advanced options, but you can add a yield to your coin, which means that if someone locks it up, the current default lockup is 1 year. So if anyone who locks up your coin for 1 year will get the yield that you specify here. Every coin can have a 1-year APY, just for fun, if people want to use it to craft their incentives a little more carefully. And the last thing is the coins that you own. So let's say you want to keep half of the supply, you can set a lockup on them so that people know that you're in it for the long game and you're not going to immediately sell those coins if you want. So those are the basic properties. And when you launch your coin, there's instant liquidity via something we call an automated market maker. This is an extremely sophisticated piece of technology that we've been working on for a very, very long time. But what it ultimately amounts to is allowing people to immediately be able to buy your coin, even if there are no initial buyers and sellers. So if you read the white paper on focus.xyz, it'll explain more about what that looks like, but it's fully customizable, and every single parameter of the automated market maker is something you can play with and set up to have the liquidity for your market be as thick or as thin as you want it at all different levels. And it's really there for the power users who want to craft their incentives as carefully as possible. But for us, we'll just stick with the default AMM. And then the last thing is just that category, which would be preset to creator coin here. And the ticker name is unique. on Focus because the ticker name is just the DeSo profile username. So guarantees that if you type the username correctly, you'll always find the right coin. There's no overlap in tickers. So it's kind of using that social graph that DeSo has, that advantage of having the social graph on chain to make it easier to know what coin is legit and that you're not being scammed or something like that. So normally I would launch the coin, but this isn't quite ready yet. But what it looks like when you do is you'll end up in the marketplace where you can see all the coins that are launching soon. And then, of course, there's an activity page where you can see all the recent trades that are happening. When you launch a coin, people can buy and sell it. When they buy and sell it, it ends up here. And then I'll just show you what the buying and selling looks like really quickly. So I'll go to PayPay Trump, which is a test coin that we have. So on the profile, you can see buy right here. It also shows up in other places, but that's the prompt. So because PayPay Trump has launched a coin, I can now buy it, which is really cool. I can buy, sell, transfer, lock. Remember that APY. So PayPay Trump has a 15% APY if you lock it for 1 year. If I just set that I want to buy some PayPay Trump, buying 1 cent of PayPay Trump, you'll receive this many coins. Price per coin is set based on the automated market maker, but also based on orders that people are putting in. And then, of course, there's a DeSo network fee, which is so small that it basically doesn't matter. But yeah, you can review your order, confirm the buy, and then it ends up in your wallet. That's the buying. Of course, you can also sell, you can transfer, lock. You can also even burn coins if you really want, although that's irreversible. But yeah, but that's everything you can do in the Focus app with coins. But there is one more thing that's important to mention, which is that coins, although you can use this very simple interface to buy and sell, also have an advanced trading view via Openfund, which is a client on the DeSo blockchain for placing orders and trades. So something that I want to mention, which I mentioned before, everything is on the blockchain. Yes, that's true of your coin as well. The profile for your coin is on the blockchain. The trades are also fully on chain via what we call the DeSo DEX. So when you place an order that's on the blockchain, when you match orders that's on the blockchain, everything is fully on chain. And the reason why that's possible is DeSo can actually store content very cheaply, which means it can do an order book DEX that is arguably superior to anything that's out there. And so this is what the order book looks like for PayPay Trump. And all of these orders are from the automated market maker. So remember how I said the automated market maker makes sure there's liquidity at various levels. So that's what it's doing here. And when you do a buy or sell on Focus, it's actually hitting the DeSo DEX for that liquidity and it's essentially doing a market order. But if you wanted to be more advanced, all you would have to do is click Advanced Trading on Openfund, go to Openfund and put the trade in here. And you can do limit orders and market orders in addition to just, that kind of taking the price from a market order as you do on Focus. And what's interesting is because all of this is happening on the blockchain, on the DeSo DEX, when you have that trading fee that you specified when you create your coin, that trading fee goes to you as the creator, regardless of whether you do the trade on Focus or on Openfund. So it's cool because the blockchain is this open protocol and you can have multiple apps that you are transacting on, which is the future. And then the last thing I'll mention is Focus and Openfund are apps that exist when we launch and we create and maintain, but anyone can launch their own app. They can launch their own version of Openfund and have their own DEX, make it better, their own tools for researching coins. Everything is open by being on the DeSo blockchain, and so anybody can compete, essentially, with the experience in various ways. So that's all the ways you make money as a creator. We mentioned tipping, we mentioned subscription content, we mentioned messages, we mentioned pay to view, or we call it view to earn, mentioned pay to repost, and then, of course, trading, which is super fun. I mentioned earlier how because your wallet is tightly integrated into the social experience, we can do things with money that other social apps have never been able to do. And so where that comes into play in a really big way is in spam and sorting content on the feed and in comments. So the first thing I'll show you is if I go to this post, you'll notice there are 2 comments, and you'll actually see a $sign in between the upvote, downvote. That's the total asset balance of everybody who's upvoted this post. And if I come here and I upvote this right here, I have basically $4 in my wallet, and that contributes it to the score of the post. And if I refresh the page here, well, this is less than that, but let me do it with a different account. So here I have Electric Wallaby. They have $171 in their account. So if I upvote it, they get a whale shower because they're a little bit bigger. And so if I upvote this post and then refresh the page, it should sort that post to the top. and it just takes a second. It's capped at $100. Your contribution's capped, so that's why it's 104 now. So the upvotes are actually weighted by the asset balance of the people who are upvoting and downvoting, which is really cool. The feed itself can also use what we call the money signal, or how much people have in their wallets, in order to rank content. I mentioned also how all the content is on chain and anyone can make their own feed. First of all, the focus feed is fully customizable. So have you ever tried to tune the weights of the algorithm on a social network? Like, no, that's never been possible. Well, now it is. Here, we're using the default feed provider, which is Focus, and we're selecting one of their feeds, which is just the standard Focus for You feed. And this feed has these parameters, which you can adjust. So you can play with the time decay of the feed. You can weight negative interactions or reports as differently. You can rank neutral or positive reactions differently. But there's actually many, many, many other parameters that are going to be there when we launch for the default feed. And this is the preview. So what you'll do is you'll come in here and be like, I want negative reactions to be weighted a bit more. So you'll do that, and then it'll instantly update your feed preview to show you what the feed looks like if you were to do that, and then you can save your feed settings. By default, Focus is launching with this feed, default Focus feed, but it also has a feed store, which is really cool. And the feed store allows anybody to create their own feed. And what you do is you provide it a name, and then all you need to do is set the URL of your feed provider. So there's going to be a lot of documentation on how to set this up. It's definitely a power user thing. But what a feed provider does is it specifies what parameters you can adjust it for the feed, and also has an endpoint that returns the feed for a given public key. So once you've developed an API that can honor those two simple requests, you can paste it here and then add a description, and your feed will show up in the feed store automatically. And all of these feeds are free, but you will be able to set your feed to pay you a subscription monthly for anyone who's using your feed. And that'll just create an incentive to create higher quality curation than what would happen if it was just a free marketplace. And of course, it leverages this on-chain subscription primitive that DeSo supports natively to do that. So if I were to, I think it's not quite working right now, but I can install one of these feeds here. And then I think instead of using the Focus feed provider, the mic feed would show up here. And the parameters are actually different. Every feed provider can put their own parameters. And so it's really going to create a lot more competition and choice around content and around curation. There's not going to be any one person who can deplatform you. I might have a different feed than someone else who might have a different feed than someone else. And every feed has access to the entire fire hose of content because it's on the DeSo blockchain and uncensorable, which is just so cool. This is just one of my favorite things about what we're doing here with Focus and with DeSo. The last thing I'll show you is just discovering creators. So again, because there's a trading feature, something that you might want to do is find coins that are valuable, but also find creators that might have content that you're interested in. Discovery features on Focus are really, really cool. Again, all powered by DeSo because all the content is on the blockchain. We can build a cool discovery tool, but so can anyone else. And so here you can just filter by all kinds of things: total reactions they've received, how many assets they have. You can sort users by everything as well. So you can sort by how much they've made, how much they're worth. Really anything you can think of that's stored on chain, you can sort by. One last fun thing is that if a user has enough money in their wallet balance, they have a whale tag. So this is Focus's version of verification. Is I think it's having like at least $1,000 in your wallet. And when you hover over it, you can see their followers, assets, and earnings. And one thing I didn't show you is on posts, you can actually see everyone who reacted to a post. This is testnet, so there aren't that many. But they're sorted by their wallet balance. And you can also see who viewed a post right now, also sorted by wallet balance. Reactions sorted by wallet balance. So you can just see who are the most kind of influential people who are interacting with your content, rather than just seeing a bunch of bots in your list that are at the top for no reason. That money signal really feeds into discovery, really feeds into knowing who the most important people are in notifications, in views on your posts, and all of those different places. Okay, so we covered all of the features of Focus, how to make money, but something that's important is we didn't just optimize Focus to be useful. We also optimized it for virality, and specifically using all of the advantages that crypto gives us to maximize virality in a way that I don't think any other social network has ever really done. We don't believe in the adage of if you build it, they will come. We don't believe that. We think you really have to, from the ground up, engineer virality into the app, or else things aren't really going to work. So I mentioned that page that we saw earlier. which if I just log out, I think it'll show up here. This is what the page looks like. Change the theme. But a password is required to access Focus. So the first people who are able to get in are the people who reserved Focus earlier. Once they get in, though, they have a link that they can share with people. And it's important to mention what the properties of that link are. So if you come here, this is your invite link, and it has a password embedded in it. If I were to visit this password protected link, and if I were to come in with a wallet that I haven't used yet, you can see the password from the other account is here. And if I click verify password, you'll see what's happening. So because I got that link from Mystical Jaguar will actually get half of the fees that are earned off of my content at no cost to them, which is amazing for the incentive to bring people into the system. When you post content and do everything, there's a fee that ends up buying and burning Focus coin, and that's what gives Focus its value. At a high level, when someone is referred, and pretty much everyone in Focus is going to be referred, half of that fee is reallocated to whoever referred the creator. So just by virtue of posting a link on your social media, you'll basically be getting half of the fees that whoever clicks that link is generating pretty much forever. But we don't stop there. So if I go back to this page here, we add one more incentive. We call this join to earn, or just basically giving people tokens when they join. And the best way to actually see that is to go through the first part of the onboarding here. So the first thing that happens in the onboarding is it asks me to connect my Twitter account, and it'll evaluate it and see what it's worth. And if you have a very valuable Twitter, you'll get more money essentially for connecting your account than if you have a less valuable one. So I'll do that right now for myself. Let's hit evaluate, authorize. So my account's worth $580. This value isn't correct yet, but what's really cool is it scales based on how many views and followers you have on whatever network you're connecting. And so if I click this button here, all I have to do is make a post to Twitter, and I'll be able to get this amount of money immediately. So this is an important detail. You get 10% of the money up front, and then the rest unlocks starting 1 year from today. So that just creates an incentive to keep coming back to the app and checking it out. And what's important is whoever referred me, so Mystical Jaguar, will actually get 10% of this just paid to them with the same 10% upfront and a 4-year vesting. For every single person who they refer, they get 10% of the joining bonus. It's really a kind of very effective viral loop there. So all I have to do to get this is to post to my Twitter, and I have to leave it up for 24 hours. So I'll do that here. I will get the money in 24 hours once my post has been up there for long enough. So I'm not going to walk you through the rest of the onboarding now. I just wanted to show you what the join to earn kind of incentive looks like. The last thing I want to show you is we make it really, really easy to figure out what the amounts you're going to get for your profile are before you join. And we do that using a tool that you might have seen mentioned earlier called the Bounty Hunter. So if I go back to that password protected page, you'll see the Bounty Hunter is public. This is going to be public the minute that we launch. So even though you can't get into Focus, you can still use the Bounty Hunter. And what the Bounty Hunter is it's just a tool for showing you what accounts are worth. So it allows you to search any account and also to actually use the APIs in an automated fashion to scrape all of the people who you follow or who have interacted with you to see what those accounts are worth very quickly and easily. So these are some that we just are looking up the test values for. So you'll see Elon maxes it out. You'd get 20 grand if you got Elon to join, which makes sense. If I type Nader Theory into here, you can type any user. We can see what you get if you refer that person, and you're going to see what bounty they get. We have X right now, but we're working on adding others. And then, this is just a fun little tool where you can see who's looking at what profiles. And if you think this bounty is too low, you can actually suggest a higher one. So that's looking up an individual person's bounty. The last thing is analyzing your network. So if you click that Analyze button, it uses Twitter's APIs to then scrape your profile and scrape everybody who you've been interacting with or who's been interacting with you, looks up their values, and then just shows you some of the most valuable people that are accessible to you. These numbers are not accurate yet, but by the time we're ready for launch, they'll all be super, super accurate. And generally, we'll give more weight to people who have a lot of views, have a lot of reach, because posting to X or whatever social network is more valuable. It makes sense that their airdrop amount would be bigger as a result of posting. The last thing I'll mention is that there is a little bit of a FOMO element to this, which is that the bonuses will start at a certain level, but there will be a multiplier applied to them that decays as more people claim. So there's much more value in being early to join and to post about Focus than there is in waiting for it to be cool and then doing it after. And that makes sense because the people who join and post early should be rewarded. They really are kind of the founders of Focus in the sense that they help to make it successful. This is just a really cool tool that we created to create a viral loop around Focus to bring people through the door. I would say it's really the first social airdrop that I've seen that really can use traditional social media as a means of getting virality and really mixing crypto and social media together to get that to work. So we think the Bounty Hunter is going to be a lot of fun. Again, it'll be accessible even if you're not on Focus yet. Obviously, it creates a great incentive for you to refer people or to join yourself, which we think is going to be really great. If you have any more questions, I recommend checking out focus.xyz. There's a white paper there. You can also check out our Focus GPT. It's a chat GPT that has a lot of information about Focus that you can go and ask questions to.